Hey there, YouTube land. So I literally just made a video long enough to eat poutine, which is Canadian royalty dish. Must try it. And read my Facebook post. Then I had to make this. There's another Halloween movie coming out. I remember a time when I was in high school and college, and I looked forward to Halloween sequels. Went to the theater to see every one of them that I could see in theater. I remember Halloween 4 and 5, and like just actually really enjoying them and seeing like the crowd that actually really enjoyed watching in the theater, and it was just really well. Some were better than others. I enjoyed part 6, and I thought it was underrated. And it was able to explain stuff while still keep the mystery, if you can understand. That if you've seen the movie, you probably can't. But it was a kind of a dividing film. So let's get to it anyway. They announced Halloween, the next chapter. And normally, this is where I would be excited because, quick disclaimer, for any fans of the Rob Zombie Halloween films, you may want to leave right now because this is not going to be pretty, and I apologize. Everybody has their own opinion. Disclaimer over. Okay, Halloween, the next chapter, has been pretty much announced. Website Schmoes, you know, the Schmoes guys. Those guys, basically they've said that there's a script. It's called Halloween, the next chapter. It's being penned by a writer that they're not naming yet, and it's being handled by Dimension in the fall of 2015. So cool, except for one thing. It will be a continuation of Zombies films, but it will not be a follow-up to Halloween 2. So basically, the whole origin and all that stuff stays and all that crap. But they'll just take out the part where Michael Myers gets killed and speaks. I was really hoping that with the space of time that had gone between the Halloween films, that they would come to their senses and just either start fresh or just make one. Make one like right after Resurrection. I don't care if you like Resurrection or not. Don't have to like Resurrection to like the sequel to Resurrection. Because it would just be a classic Halloween film. None of this like my mom was a stripper who turned into an evil ghost that ran around with the ghost of myself as a kid and a white horse, and I grew a giant Rob Zombie beard and started talking and wearing a hoodie more than a mask, and my sister went crazy, and it may have all been in her head. Oh, God. There is such what's the word I'm looking for? Pretentiousness in the Rob Zombie Halloween films. He's trying to make movies. I like to say he's trying to make his own Halloween movie, but he's not, because the films that he did may have the name Michael Myers and Laurie Strode in them, but you know what, and even Dr. Loomis, but you know what, has nothing at all to do with the Halloween films that John Carpenter, Dwight Little, anybody made. Hell, it's the worst. And it is the worst. I mean, people complain about Resurrection. Resurrection, but at least was a Halloween film. At least it had Michael Myers in it. None of these movies didn't have Michael in them. No point did I see Michael Myers in any of those films. At the end of the movie, is that no? Because Michael Myers is not that hulking behemoth that you see. Do you know who is a hulking behemoth? Jason Voorhees. Do you know who has mother issues? Jason Voorhees has mother issues. two things that I'm guessing Rob Zombie completely forgot, because he made his Michael Myers into pretty much a bastardized Jason character. And they followed up with, after two Rob Zombie ones, they followed up with next chapter, which is going to be continuing the zombie films. And you know what? I don't even believe yet that Rob Zombie's not out of the picture if it's going to be continuing the Rob Zombie films. Because what if he's writing it? Or what if he's like producing this thing? What if he got his grubby hands on this? This is the guy that said he wanted to make a remake of The Blob, but he had to take out the one thing that wasn't interesting in it, The Blob. Yes, this is the mind that you're working with here. Rob Zombie's made some interesting films on his own. I didn't mind Lords of Salem. I actually thought it was pretty decent. I liked The Devil's Rejects. House of a Thousand Corpses was okay. It was repetitive, and it was taking from a better source material, but it was still okay. I could understand the appeal. The ending sucked, but I could understand the appeal pretty much. So I will give Rob Zombie his credit and props. When he's doing his original stuff, he actually has some sort of vision and idea. Not always a vision idea that I really love or enjoy to watch more than once, but something that I will have in my collection. I got a kick out of the first Zombie Ween film. And not from a Halloween standpoint. It sucked as a Halloween film. It was a horrible Halloween film. But if it would have been a name of slasher on its own, I could have dealt with that. With the Halloween name on it? No, I couldn't. It had nothing to do with Halloween. Nothing to do with the characters. Laurie Strode was unrecognizable, and I do like Scout Taylor Compton, so nothing to do with that. I really enjoyed her in the movie Runaways, though small part she had. I liked her up. I just didn't like her character in that. I didn't like Michael Myers. He was a whiny little bitch. And that's not even getting into part two. Part two changed the characters again. Completely different. All of a sudden we got the characters, and Rob Zombie comes back to make the sequel, but it's not a sequel. It's only way it's a sequel. It's kind of sort of reminiscent to the first, to the one in that a follow-up to the ending, but all the characters that have changed. Laurie Strode, who is at least semi-likable in the first film, is completely unlikable, unrelatable to at all in this film. Michael Myers might as well not be there because he matters that little in the film, and the murders are so laughable. They try to be brutal, but instead of being brutal, it comes off as almost slapstick comedy. The scene where he's stabbing the nurse over and over again, I cracked up. It was kind of like when I was watching the first movie, and little Michael is crying because he can't go out for Halloween, or moping, whatever, and his mother's stripping, and they're going back and forth between those scenes. What the hell? There's so much unintentional comedy in these films. The White Horse was hilarious. I know that he meant something profound by it, but you know what, Rob Zombie, you're not that profound, and it doesn't come off that way. And you know what? This is a Halloween movie. This is a movie that has had 8 movies altogether. 8 movies, original films. 7 sequels. One of them didn't even have Michael Myers in it. Still more entertaining than Rob Zombie films. But you know what? These 2 films didn't have Michael Myers really in it either. And yes, Halloween 3 is more entertaining than anything that Rob Zombie put on the screen for those Halloween films. The Dr. Loomis character is kind of likable in the first film. You kind of get into him a bit, and then he's a complete ass in the second film because Rob Zombie wanted him to be an ass. The mother, who is probably, Sharon Moon Zombie, and people rag on her all the time, is in this movie, and she does what she does. She's cute, she's got a nice butt, all that type of thing, but and she's actually likable as the mom in the first film. It's sad when she offs herself. She kills herself in the first film, and you feel bad for her because she's gone through hell. And then in the second movie, fuck that shit. Nope. All of a sudden, her ghost is back, and she's evil, and she's telling Michael Myers to kill people so that they can be together. So that Michael Myers can be with his dead mom, and the ghost of himself as a little boy, and the ghost of a white horse, because all of a sudden, she gave him a white horse, Why? Because so Rob Zombie could use some half-assed symbolism. That doesn't work. So am I looking forward to the next chapter? No. Will I see it? Yes, because I'm a sucker that's seen every Halloween film. But will I see it in theater? Fuck no. They really have to do a lot to make to make up for this whole clusterfuck that Rob Zombie did in the last two films. I'm a really huge Halloween fan. I'm also a writer, and one of the things I wrote was a spec script for Halloween early on in my career, and it never got to where it was supposed to go because of well, things happened. But Rob Zombie ended up taking over, and I can tell you right now, if Mustafa Akkad was alive right now, there was no way in hell that Rob Zombie would have got his hands on Halloween. He would not have let Rob Zombie get his hands on it any more than he let any other semi-big people like Quentin Tarantino guys like that get their hands on it. Because you know what? He had a vision for the series. He knew where he wanted to go. And if people didn't like that vision, well, too bad. It was Mustafa Akkad's baby. He had brought the films around, and he knew what he was going to do with it. If you want to explain Michael Myers, go back and watch Part 6. It may not be the greatest of explanations, but the producer's cut, the better cut, is still a much better explanation than what Rob Zombie gives. Some pseudo-psychobabble stuff that really doesn't make any sense at all. Anybody with any sort of like... You can take a beginner psychology course and look at the Rob Zombie films and see what's wrong with them. I know there's a lot of fans of the Rob Zombie Halloween films, and you know, everybody likes their own stuff. But I just wish Rob Zombie would stay the hell away from mine, because I have been watching Halloween movies since I was a kid. I've seen them all. I've seen all the ones that I could see in theater. I saw that. I was there when they premiered on TV to watch the TV versions of them back at Halloween back then, being scared, hiding behind the couch, watching it, listening to the music blasting really loud, and realizing that was the music that was terrifying me more than the film. And I have a strong sense of loyalty to Halloween. I'm getting the box set. The first day it was announced, I pre-ordered the box set because I love Halloween. I love the franchise. I love the series. And I hate what's happening to it. The next chapter. If it keeps up like this, it's going to be unrecognizable to the point where it's over. And as far as I'm concerned, until they really wipe the Rob Zombie Halloween films clean, Resurrection's the last Halloween film that was ever made. Thanks for watching, and for me right now, it's time for tea. Nice, relaxing, non-Rob Zombie tea.